Hey gang, this is Snap-on John 100, John Newton, and I'm down by Ithaca in one of the state forests. And I wanted to make kind of an announcement before it starts raining, because I wanted to make a couple of calls. The bearing blocks that I'm selling for the Scout fundraiser is going to be ending at the end of November. So you want to make sure, if you want any, to go ahead and get those before the end of November. They'll still be available, but there's going to be a major price increase because the company that is making them for me was also in Scouts, so he was practically doing it for nothing except for material. So there is going to be a big increase. I'm not sure now what they're going to be, but I'm going to also streamline so that the shipping and everything is all one flat rate. I'm going to use priority, so it's just the same. If you're in the United States, it's going to be the same thing. And I'll be able to, if you want multiple ones, I will be able to not increase the shipping. I can just keep putting them in the container until I have to jump to the next size container. Then the price will go up a little bit, but otherwise it's going to stay the same. So I think the deluxe bearing, one with the bearings in it, is going to be somewhere in the $25 to under $30, but somewhere between $25 and $30, probably closer to 28 or something. Yeah, well, maybe it's closer to 25. I'm not sure. I still have to discuss that, but they still will be available. But if you want to get the great price and have it going to a good cause, get your order in by the end of November, and then you can get those prices locked in. The standard one without the bearing is 10 now, and I think it's only going to go up to maybe 15, something like that. So without further ado, what I wanted to do is I wanted to demonstrate the both of them, show them off, make a cull with both of them so you can see them both in action with the same piece of wood. And the other thing here too is I have a different pack on. It's hard for you to see. I'm wearing a different pack. This one's, I forget the brand, but it's you can't. I got it for half price. You can't get these anymore because they're discontinued. But the reason why I pointed that out is when I hit 2,000, one of the prizes is going to be my Maxpedition OD Green Condor 2 backpack. It's in complete mint condition because I take care of my stuff to the nth degree, and so I'm going to be giving that away too, along with some other stuff. But that's just one of the prizes when I hit 2,000 subscribers. Without further ado, let's get cracking on these embers before it starts raining on me. Okay, I wanted to show you also something about my bow. I'm also going to be giving away some complete bow drill sets, a bow, the bearing block, and hearth board. What I do for mine is, this is just a, it's actually called Cove molding. It's oak, and I like having a straight one just because they're easier to pack and you have a little bit more control. The way I make mine is I put one hole at this end, and this is the, I'll say this is the front and this is the back. So I drill one hole in the end, bring my string, tie a knot in a piece of paracord, and then I run it through the back of the bow. So now it comes along the front or belly of the bow. This end I've drilled 3 holes about, well, not quite an inch apart. So what I do is I take my string and I go up through the center one, just like that, and then down through the one that's nearest the center of the bow, down through there, and then up through, put this down, up through the very end hole from the belly side to the back. Now you've got this loop right here, and I just loop it. I put it under that loop, just like that. Okay, so that's what it looks like, and it makes it really adjustable. The bearings I'm going to be using are the ones that I just mentioned earlier that I'm selling for Scout Fundraiser, and at the end of November they'll still be available, but at an increase, and the fundraiser will be over. This is what they look like. This is the one that's the deluxe model. It's got a whole bunch of parts in it, so it's a lot more expensive. It's got a thrust bearing on the bottom, and then on top of it, it's got the roller bearing, because the thrust bearing, well, and here also is a stainless insert, and the forces that go in when you're using it is not, the roller bearing is not designed for that kind of force. The thrust bearing is, so the thrust bearing supports this thing, so it should make it last pretty much forever. And it's milled out of aluminum. Okay, the other one is this is the standard one, and it just has the stainless insert in it. Okay, and I'm going to be demonstrating both these. I'm just going to make coals today because I've got to get this done and then get out of here before it starts raining on me. Okay, so let me get set up, and I will, oh, the other thing too, I'm going to be using a Blind Horse Knives GNS knife. It's 1/8 of an inch, and it's got a drop point, and it's almost like a spear point, but it's pretty aggressive, or tapered, so it's got a really, you know, a very fine point. And it's a saber grind with a convex micro bevel, and then it has natural colored canvas micarta scales. It's got a really large grip, or gripping surface. My hand is average size. I've got short fingers, but my palm is pretty much average size, and you can see you get a lot of space here. And then it's got a really generous lanyard hole. And then I put, somebody had asked me before where I got the good-looking paracord, and I got all of this from Dave Canterbury's Wilderness Outfitters Pathfinder School. They sell different colors. So this is the knife I'm going to be using. It's a, I think I said 1/8 of an inch. It's 01 tool steel. Okay, let's get going. And as you can see from my knee, it's sopping wet out here. So I'm going to, I've already got a hole started. It's really important now to keep your material, your wood and stuff off the ground. So I got this propped up here because it's really wet out. This first one I'm going to be using the deluxe bearing, because that's the one I picked up first, and then the next one I'll be using is the standard one. Okay. Kind of on a downhill, my foot. All right. There we go. Prop that up there. Okay, so I'm going to be cutting here. So I'm going to start with a saw for my Swiss Army knife. And I just did a completely detailed set of videos on building fires with a bow and drill, so I'm not going to go through every little thing, so just refer to those because that's super detailed. That's why I did that, so you'd have a really good place to look at something where I pretty much tried to have you crawl inside my mind and know exactly everything that I did and what I was thinking about when I made my decisions on what wood and stuff. I'll just tell you that I'm going not quite to the center of this hole. And then now I'm chamfering the front to get more air flow. If you get a lot of smoke and the ember doesn't seem to, it looks like it's going to start and it goes out, you didn't have enough oxygen. So pretty much every time that happens, you can open up the notch, and the next time you try it, it'll work. I'm right on the very end of the stick. I don't like working way out here. But you notice I'm staying away from cutting toward my hand. You don't want to, cut up here towards your hand in case it slips. That's why it makes it a little harder when you're on that end. You don't have much to hold on with. Oh, shoot. All right, that broke out, so I'm going to have to start all over. Not too much of an issue, but boy, this knife is razor sharp. It shaved hair right out of the gate. Okay, I'm going to start another one here. All right. Okay, now I'm going to use the standard one because the standard one doesn't get sold very often, but because it's not as cool as the other one, but it works really well. And I'm having trouble. I got a rock here to take out. Okay. There we go. Now we'll try it again. At least I'm going to be closer to the center so I can hold on to it easier. I might look like it, but I'm not cutting towards my leg. I'm way far away from my knee. This cuts a little better when you pull. Okay. All right. Here. All right. Now we'll try again. Yeah, a lot easier now. You have to kind of be careful too. It's deer season out here, bow season, so that's a little safer. All right, this notch is pretty good. So, all right, there we go. All right, got my welcome mat here. Once again, this one's going to be done with the standard without the bearing. Probably could have stopped earlier. Oh wow, it went out. Opened up the hole a little bit. That was weird. It was going until I took it out of the... I think if I would have left it in this notch and just blew on it some. That's another tip. What I do a lot of times is I don't rush taking it out, and I just start blowing on it while it's in the... still in this thing, because you don't have to worry about blowing the ember away, because it's pretty much surrounded by the wood. Okay, let's try it again. Well, at least you saw it didn't take any time as far as getting things running, going here. Yeah, it's really damp out here. Okay. And it is kind of sticking in here. So you want to make sure the sides of this thing is really smooth so the dust doesn't hang up on you. See, can you see it smoking? There you go. Yeah, it's smoking good. All right. That's coal number one. That's with the standard. Okay. Now we'll set up and we'll do it with the other one. Okay. I'll just put this, actually I'll put this coal in this mud spot. And put it out. Okay. I think I can get another ember out of this hole. So I'm going to go ahead and go for an ember right off the bat. And if it doesn't make it, doesn't matter, because I had to start all over with the other one anyway too. Okay. Want to make sure your foot's about an inch away from the hole. And if you don't have an upright angle, oh, forgot my welcome mat. This is angled down this way, like it's angled. This is downhill. So for this, to make sure it's vertical, I just kind of rock back on my knee. Once again, this is the deluxe one. I rock back on my knee so that I can, now it's perpendicular to the piece of wood. The noise you're hearing, and I've mentioned this before, a lot of people don't realize, they think it's because it's too wet or something. What you're getting is, like in the machining world, it's called chatter. And I'll get up closer and I'll show you how you can alleviate it. Starting to rain. There you go. Now, to eliminate chatter, you knock these shoulders off. You just take your knife. I use a push cut for this, just like this, and just go around like that and knock those shoulders off, and it won't do that anymore. Okay, so that's all that is. Well, hope you like this, and please subscribe to my channel, like the video, and don't forget, end of November, the prices are going up because it's no longer going to be, it's not going to be a Scout, the fundraiser's ending. So if you want one at a better price, get that order in. Until the next time, God bless. Hey, it's John Newton again, and this time I'm coming to you live from the cockpit of Kathy's new car. A couple of things before I sign off. I just wanted to mention, I had briefly mentioned that I will be giving away my Maxpedition Condor 2 backpack. It is, I set OD green. It is actually, I think, coyote tan or something, but it's kind of a greenish, a light greenish tan. It doesn't look tan to me. It's but you can, I'm using it in literally every video just about I've done. That backpack is in my video, but I will be giving that away, and it's, like I said before, it's in excellent condition. Phenomenal pack. It's one of my all-time favorites. It's got great MOLLE webbing all over it. The Maxpedition accessories you can put on there to totally customize it. I did take the accessories off mine because I'm putting them on other things, but it's a phenomenal pack. It's bulletproof, bomb-proof. I really loved that pack, but I found that I wanted to go with one that was a little bigger in the torso, so that it actually came with a waist belt or a hip belt, because I like carrying most of the weight on my hips rather than all of it on my shoulders. The other thing I wanted to mention, and this is a tip, another little tidbit, bow drill tidbit, that you won't get unless you watch this video, but it was something I failed to say in the very last bow drill video I did in the Ultimate Bow Drill series, and that was the lousier your bearing block, or the more friction you have in your bearing block. Well, let's put it this way: if the better your bearing block is and the less friction it has, you can always use the two pieces of the same wood, same piece of wood for spindle as well as hearthboard. However, when your bearing block starts to get like where you got a lot of friction, and that's usually a piece of wood when you're using just wood, that is when you want to have a spindle that's harder than your hearthboard. Okay, let me explain that. It's you'll realize it once you start seeing what happens. But when you're using a fairly lousy bearing block, where you've got a lot of friction, the downward force you have to put on it, what happens is it starts eating up the end of your spindle, and it starts generating a lot of heat. Plus, it just starts chewing it up and making the friction even higher and higher. So it makes it tougher to get a coal. So if you've got, say you're using a piece of wood, what you want to do is a good combination would be something like a willow spindle and a basswood hearthboard, or basswood hearthboard with almost any other spindle will be good, because the spindle's hard enough that you're not going, the downward pressure you got to put on it to get it to drill into the basswood is light enough that you're not going to hurt it. But if you use basswood on basswood, the spindle end is so, the end you point to like a pencil is so delicate that it ends up chewing it off. And so if you are using something that's not, it doesn't have a lot of, or it has a lot of friction, you want to use like I say, you're using wood, try basswood hearthboard and willow, or any of the other woods that I said, a cottonwood spindle. Let's see, you could try pine as long as it's really dry, because you don't want anything that has resin in it. Oh, cedar, a cedar spindle and a basswood hearthboard. That's all I can think of. But I just wanted to mention that. That's a tip that you'll get as a bonus for watching this video. And I will show you once again, I'll show you the two bearing blocks that I'm selling for the Scouts fundraiser right now. This one is the standard one, and it's about a ½ an inch deep, and it's got a lightning groove all the way around it, so you can also utilize that to put something around it if you want to tie a string to it, or put a big washer, or put an O-ring in there to capture it so that you can use attach a string or cord to it. It's aluminum with a stainless insert that has been conically machined out. That's the standard one. And this, by the way, right now is $10. And the deluxe one is this one. Now, as you saw on this video, it's hard to tell which one I'm using because they both work really well. But the coolness factor of this one is the part I like about it. It's very cool. This one has a thrust bearing behind the regular radial ball bearing or roller bearing, and then it's got the stainless steel conically machined insert in the center of it, and the design of it is to keep the axial load, that when you're pressing straight into the bearing like that, that's an axial load that they're not designed to tolerate. So the thrust bearing is behind there because the thrust bearing is the support so that it doesn't hurt, so that load is not even felt by the roller bearing. This one right now is $18, and for shipping for either one of these, for one in the United States, shipping, the packaging, and PayPal fee, since this is just all going to charity, I'm passing the PayPal fees along because it was starting to kill me. So that's $8 for one, and then if you add two, it becomes $9. Three, $10. And that's just for the packaging, shipping, and the PayPal fees. That's in the continental United States. No, actually, it's Hawaii and Alaska too. So, end of November is when there's going to be a price increase, and the fundraiser will be over. All right. Well, live from Kathy's new car. Until we meet again, God bless.